Hello everyone, my name is Cameron Lates and I do OPV 120. In this semester we were given a task to make a brain model out of any materials we found around the house. So I made my brain out of clay that was lying around the house from me doing my younger brother's school projects. So I'm gonna show you my brain right now. This is my brain. It took about 2 days to complete, like from molding the clay to like setting it all together. I'll now explain how I put the brain together. It all started with Play-Doh. Um, I softened the clay with the heat from my hands to make it easier to mold. I drew out the skull and added borders to know the different sectors of the brain. I then rolled the clay into long thin strands and placed them in squiggly lines, which also represents the axons and brain cells. I have labeled the brain, but just so it looks aesthetically pleasing, you won't see it right now, but I'll get to that part. Let's start with the different functions of the brain from top to bottom. The first part is the frontal lobe, which I colored blue. The main function of the frontal lobe is to control all voluntary movement. I labeled this right underneath so it would be easier to like see and study with. So the next part of the brain is the parietal lobe. It is salmon colored. This part of the brain controls taste, sense of smell, and while I was like studying on this section of the brain, it made me think back to COVID when people couldn't like smell anything or taste anything. Would that mean that this part of the brain, the parietal lobe, had a problem because one of the side effects of COVID was not being able to like smell or taste anything? The next one is the temporal lobe. It is responsible for processing auditory, which makes sense because it is so close to the ear. Like the location just makes sense. Then the orbital lobe, which is responsible for visuals and like seeing things, which is very important because we all need to see things. This was the hardest to make because the clay was super thin. This is the cerebellum, which is responsible for coordinating and all processing body functions. And this, which is literally probably my most favorite thing that I made, is the spinal cord. I chose white because it kind of looks like bones. That's why it's my favorite. But anyway, I really enjoyed making this. This is responsible for flexibility and keeping all the nerves in one place. What I realized while like putting my brain together is that clay shrinks. So this is not how it looked initially. It was much bigger, but as I baked it, it did shrink. So now the head kind of looks bigger than the brain. But anyway, I read somewhere that the brain is the size of two fists put together, so it kinda is put together. But I also realized how sensitive everything in the brain can be. Like if one of these functions break or gets hit, or a sector of your brain gets hit, it could cause a lot of damage because there's a lot of nerves in there and a lot of things that could go wrong. I hope you guys enjoyed my video and this helped you. Thank you.